Hey guys, how you doing? This is Unisharks here.
You sound
Oh,
so
you're
thrilled.
here again.
Um, well, here we are with another episode. I'm your host today, Hammerhead, with my co-hosts Lemonhead, Lemonhead and Mako Head.
Yeah. Mako
Sorry.
Lemon Head. I think that's the name of the
So,
brand.
It sounds like some sort of like new drug. The meth
I don't
heads
think
with
of lemon
lemon
mouth.
which one sounds like a new drug though?
Mako head or lemon head. I don't know.
Well,
Lemon head sounds like something.
Lemonhead's a candy.
Oh, is it really?
Mako.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mako Head sounds like a medical condition.
Yeah, probably would be.
That's true.
All right. But anyways, we'll start off with the meme of the week before we start off with our topics for the day or for the week, I guess. Mako, he finally shared. I think this is second meme that he's finally shared to our group chat.
Oh yeah, because usually if I find a meme, I just share it to everybody. But this was the first time I thought, oh, I'll share it to the our podcast group thing.
Yeah.
So it just says how to reduce rates in your neighborhood, 100% effective. There's a guy go to the window and start unload clip into the air.
But doesn't he just use a pistol?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like casually reaches his arm out and starts shooting into the sky. The funny thing is, like, I shared it to a friend who said, "Oh, I've known people that do this." I was like, "What?"
Really?
Yeah, like, okay.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it would actually work.
Are you gonna try that now, Mako?
Oh yeah, with how expensive, Colorado is now.
Yeah. I don't know. That might be a good idea where I'm living as well, because I mean, like, houses. You can barely find houses that are about 400. You know, um, everything else is more expensive than that. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of little townhomes, like half the size of my parents' house, and they're like going for 400. Like, there's no way on earth that thing's worth that money.
Yeah, it's just sorry for anyone that's listening from California, but there you guys are driving up our prices.
He says, "Yeah, ever since all these Californians moved out here, everything's more expensive. We can barely afford our house."
Yeah, a lot of people that were born here, they can't get a house because of the prices, and so they're having to move to other places. And so everyone
Yeah,
that's moving here to have the experience of living here, there it's just going to become another mini California because everyone can't afford it without except the Californians.
yeah, it's
They all
like,
should go to Canada instead.
What?
I said they all should go to Canada instead.
Yeah, we should go to Canada. It's
I was
almost
gonna,
cold enough.
I was gonna say that they all need to congregate in Wyoming. It has the space for them. It has the room. Just go there. Least populated
Yeah.
state in the union.
And the union? We haven't been a union for years. Okay, sorry. All right. Well, let's start with our topics for today. We'll make sure to share that meme. Lemon, you had a topic.
Yeah, so I just came up with this morning. Like last night, I was looking at some video games, and like I noticed that the genre of game was called roguelike, and I was kind of curious. And apparently, roguelike means a lot of the general thing about roguelites is rogue-like video games is that there's a lot of like randomization in the games, and like a lot of like procedural generated levels and stats and all this stuff. Like Diablo 3 has that apparently, and Spelunky and some of those games, and also they have
Hades.
a permadeath function.
So,
Oh, Hades too. That's right. I was thinking, like, what do you guys think about that? Do you like the generated stuff, or do you like things like handmade video games? Like, would you prefer, for example, like Subnautica is like a survival game where like the map is like built by hand and like it doesn't change every time you play the game. Like where you land is different each time you play the game, but it doesn't like if you play the game the second time, you'll know where everything's at pretty much. Versus like Minecraft, where you start a new world, everything's just randomized. I was thinking, what do you guys think about that, and what do you prefer?
So, well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the replayability. Those type of games, it just makes it a lot easier for you to replay a game. Um, Unless you're wanting to replay a game for the story, then an already built handmade game would be better for that person. Um, but it's something you can easily put in a lot of hours to if you have that. Minecraft, you can make a world super huge, like wide or long and all that, um, or you can have it smaller, but it's still different each time, and it has a lot of stuff that'll keep you busy for days. Um, so I think if I'm just wanting to play and enjoy it, I prefer the randomization. You brought up Diablo. Um, with Diablo 3, well, and the Diablo 2 actually, I think they started more, and Diablo 1 a little bit. They kind of just had like an RNG factor with drops with enemies, and most of the dungeons were basically the same. It's just the paths might have been inverted a different direction. Now, if I remember right, Diablo 3, you played this a little bit too, Mako.
Mhm.
Um, the maps were very similar as well, but things might have been in different places, and I think that was the most of the randomization that they wanted, because they also had quests in those areas, and I don't think they could have really changed it up a lot without possibly kind of making the quest jinky. Um, but I don't know. I think they're fine.
The
Yeah.
random, you prefer the randomization stuff?
Um, Probably not everything randomized, but with when there is some randomization, it does keep you going. I mean, I guess it could be more end up being grindy in a sense. Like if you are trying to get a certain item and it has a certain percentage, or if you want certain stats on it or skills on something, um, it might take you longer than if it was, I guess, like you're saying, handmade.
Mm.
Mhm.
I said, what do you think, Miko?
Um, for me, it kind of depends because, like, I played Minecraft for the first time a few months ago, and like, what was fun about it being so random was that it made it feel like exploration was a big part of it. You know, you never know what's around the next corner. I ended up just wandering around. I finally found this little island with a cave on it, so that's where I built my house. So, and just I just kind of been wandering the place, looking for what I can find. I've crossed, rivers and mountains and steps and stuff. It's like, this is really cool, just seeing what's over the horizon. So there's that. But then there's stuff like Ark, which I've played off and on for the last few years. And what I like about Ark is that, you spawn on the island. The island's the same. But because of that, you've kind of attached to it. Like, I'll walk around and say, oh, yeah, where my buddy and I built our house. That's where my sister got attacked by a T-Rex. So stuff like that. So it's kind of like you start forming an attachment to the map itself. It brings back good memories. So
Hmm.
I think between the two, actually, that is a hard choice. I think between the two, just barely, I prefer, like a set map. We know where everything is. And of course, like with our locations are randomized. Like a second time I went to the island, there was a big brachiosaurus. So I was so happy I ran up and punched it in the knee and it killed me.
Oh, goodness.
um, yeah, I'm like, been playing like probably over a month or two now, but whenever I get back into it, my next goal is going to be to train, like tame him. But anyways, for games that aren't based on exploration, like say Metroidvanias like Bloodstained, like because I remember they were going to put a roguelite mode in that, and then they realized their coding wouldn't support it, so they had to go for a randomizer. I think it makes speedruns really interesting because it keeps you on your toes. But I kind of think of, thinking in terms of that, I think of Halo. Because, like Halo is fun to play, playability, especially with the Master Chief Collection. But I feel like if they were to make a roguelite mode, that would make it even more interesting. Like, can you imagine trying to go through the flood and not knowing they're going to show up next?
I don't know. That'd be kind of scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm, that would be interesting. Yeah, I'm not
Or
really
like,
sure either because I never really thought about it until now. Like I've always thought myself, I always enjoyed like making replayability. Like I always thought that's really cool. But at the same time, though, I've kind of like playing games that have like more handcrafted, more of a like a special feel, more like a I don't know, like more attention to detail, I guess. But and I guess I have to play some more of those type of games. Oh, I did in XCOM. I guess it's kind of that way. Like the story is the same, but like each encounter is different each time you play the game.
yeah.
Like all the maps are switched out, and like you never know what's going to happen. I guess it depends on how like the randomization is done. I mean, if it's done really well, it can make things really interesting. But if also it like makes it kind of dull, kind of like with No Man's Sky.
Oh, really?
Like there's a lot of like procedurally generated planets, but yet each planet was just kind of like very similar, even though like it was technically different, like a different color or like little details here and there are like different, but like it still didn't have like as much attention to detail as like, for example, like a handcrafted world per se.
Yeah. Like, it might be better if they actually had a team that was consistently adding new planets and designing new stuff instead of having a computer saying, like, oh, this planet has a single blade of grass. It's a different color. Job accomplished.
Right. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
does. I guess it does depend on like how it's implemented. I also remember in Dishonored, there's this one level where you're supposed to take out or either kill or like incapacitate like this one character, but
Oh,
like
I think,
there's three of them. Yeah, Lady
yeah.
Boyle. Like there's three different ones, and they're dressed up in a different costume. But it's
Yeah, I
like
remember
different
that
each time.
mission.
Your target is different each time. You time play it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, kind of going off that, you reminded me um, of Hitman because you have the same areas, but you have a different goal each time. Um, and you kind of brought it up as well when you're talking about Halo. Um, I think when there's games that are set, they have a set path and everything. Um, it kind of does allow you to, when you do know how the game is going to play, to kind of mess around a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
like for example, I guess if you're going through a flood mission, putting on a skull where you're just chucking grenades all the time, or you're only using the pistol or something, or you just have to bash your way through without killing anything.
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of lets the player do that creativity in that set form. But again, you can do that obviously in like sandbox games such as Minecraft. You can form it to your will and then kind of do whatever you want. But it's also
Yeah.
kind of fun. It's like the game kind of wants me to do this, but I'm going to try something else and see what happens. And you can't really do that as much with a total randomizer.
Yeah. Like, if they were to set up Hitman missions or the environment and enemies are randomly generated, it would be really interesting. Like, it would be a huge challenge, but it wouldn't, funnily enough, it wouldn't allow you the same freedom. Like, I see what you're getting at there. Because I can't be like, okay, I know my target's going to pass through here at some point. So do I want to set up an electrical shock? Do I want to set up a little sniping perch? Do I want to put a bomb down? Or like, I know he goes over here, eats food. Do I want to sneak in and poison the food? Like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that very well if they randomized it. And every now and then they do have a special mission where you have to figure out who the target is. So, and also there was a special like set mission where it's just a pure sniping mission. and what you have to do is snipe certain targets, but it's completely random each time, and you're only giving clues about who they are as it goes on. So, like, yeah, like that's the most we were able to do with that, because otherwise it would kind of go against the whole principle of the game, which is giving you the freedom to take down your one target.
Interesting. This is quite the philosophical debate. Philosophical, yeah, whatever it is, yeah. Philosophical debate.
Yep, there you go.
Sophocles
Yeah.
issues.
I just had a thought, like, imagine if they made like a randomized dating sim. I don't know how that would work.
In what sense? Kind of like the lines, or
The
like
people, like,
the
what if the people are
options?
randomized?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh, like
It
you
kind of
might.
take away like the person. I guess it would be unique to you, but at the same time, though, it'd be kind of hard for a computer to like just create like a really like well crafted character each time. You know, I wonder how
Well,
that would work.
okay. I think it'd be really fun. Um, if you're bringing up dating sims, make it a community one where you'd have to have set limits. Of course, you can't just put in something totally horrendous or
Mhm.
completely explicit into it. But you have a set of forms, kind of like with Skyrim customization. You do that with the person, and then you have a bunch of different lines, and you can make the route for them, I guess. Kind of like their favorite dating spots and everything. And you just throw it into the community thing, and the computer randomly picks from those.
I think we're onto something, guys. We should work
Yeah.
on this. You know, we got. I don't know if that'll turn out. I should do some research into that. See if there actually is something out there like that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking though it had to be kind of within limits, or people would make some really cursed
Yeah.
dating. But then again, that might be fun.
Oh goodness. That's too funny. Yeah.
We should market
Yeah, I
that.
guess it depends on the game and what you're in the mood for, I guess.
Yeah.
Some games can make it work and some other games not as much, I guess. But yeah, that's all I had about that topic. If you guys want to move on to someone else's topic.
All right. All right. So Mako, you have a topic for us.
Yeah, this one's kind of an old topic, but we haven't really talked about yet. So it was this kind of controversy about, I guess, violence in video games and entertainment in general, I guess. So, because a few years ago, there were, I think, meetings in Congress about it. But or no, it was Trump saying something about it. Anyways, yeah, some media outlets have claimed that like video games incite violent behavior because these guys that performed school shootings were known to be big, like gamers, first person shooters. So the comment has been sort of this stuff like, well, I like play a cooking game that doesn't make me chef. First person shooter doesn't automatically mean I love like, shooting people. So, and yeah, like some people pointed out, oh, video games cause memes about it. Like, video games cause violence in the media. Me trying to grow my garden in Terraria. What?
Yeah.
Like that. So I just wanted to know what your guys'
I could definitely see where some people are coming from. Like, there's definitely some violent games out there that, like, I feel like can mess with people, but at the same time, that's what the rating system is for. Like, people should know what they're getting into by like based off the rating system. And I also think video games can get a bad rap because a lot of people don't understand like video games as much and don't really respect it as like a medium. For
Yeah.
example, like when Detroit Become Human was coming out, this one British lady was like really mad about like because there's like this scene where like it depicts like child abuse and whatnot. And people are like, that's not okay. Like for a video game, like kids are gonna play that. But people made the argument that like, well, just because it's a video game doesn't mean it can't like topic or can't like explore different topics like other medium can. You know, like for example, like TV shows and like movies and all that. Like they're allowed to explore other types of mediums or different types of controversial stuff without being like, oh, it's so evil. You know, like for example, like you're comparing all movies to Saw. Be like, oh, movies make people violent because of Saw and like these slasher movies. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what do you call it? Oh, going off that would be kind of like saying, "Oh, Mortal Kombat exists. All video games are gory and violent." It's like, well, no, like, yeah, Mortal Kombat is the reason why the rating system exists, but most games have, I don't know, most games do a pretty good job of presenting sort of right and wrong principles, I think. Like you brought up Detroit Become Human. I'm guessing it wasn't like glorifying child abuse, it was showing it. So it's not like it was teaching kids this is totally acceptable. It was probably putting it in a negative light, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the issue is there is kind of some you know exceptions where I mean there's the notorious one of your Russian guys you shoot up a airport.
Call
Um
of Duty thing.
yeah, I think it was called it might be a different came out, remember. Um I mean, does that happen in real life? Yes, sadly. But should we have kind of kids doing that? I don't know that's kind of the weird blurred line. It was like I don't know if I actually want a 12-year-old to see them shooting up an airport. And then there's also another game. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was kind of like you almost could do anything. You could beat up a woman with like a crowbar, and then you could piss on them.
Oh,
You
geez.
know, and so it's just kind of stuff that's very close to the line of should this even be allowed in video games? Like, yeah, it happens, but um, it's kind of pushing it. But if going to the part of them causing violence, um, I don't agree with it. Obviously, um, a lot of well, okay, I won't say a lot of studies because I personally haven't looked up studies. A little bit, but not too much, and I don't want to say that there are without and be lying. But if I remember right, people were saying that like it has been shown to be a good outlet for some people. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, if violent video games were causing violence, then you think more people would be getting married because of dating sims.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and I don't know. I think it's the issue of if you notice that your kid's having some issues personally, let them. Yeah, they can play games, of course, but make sure that they're not only spending time with that, and then make sure that they're spending time in other um, activities that could be good for them, such as just daily exercising or just spending time with family, reading a um, thought-provoking book or something like that, um,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. I also. Or
yeah,
go
they
ahead.
have. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's been proven, or studies. There are actually studies of people saying that violence is not caused by video games, but lag does cause violence to video game players.
Like,
But
Yeah, like I think if your kid commits a school shooting or I don't know, gets into a fight or something. And I remember there was one kid that tried to hire hitmen on his parents. Or no, actually, hours a day. So his parents banned him from it, and I guess he murdered them in their sleep.
yeah,
But I feel like if you're at that point, then your kid has much deeper issues than video games. Like at that point, your kid's just a full-on psychotic. That's why they do to something more than just playing a game. Those kids that did Columbine shooting, let's see, that's I looked it up. I thought I heard that they were bullied at the school. That's why they did it. So, but
Yeah,
I mean, talking about this kind of gets into the whole like censorship question, like what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed. It's kind of where the rating system exists. Like there are X-rated movies that are, extremely violent, extremely sexual, extremely gory, and but they have that rating so people know if you're not interested in this, then avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some people are just being a little too lenient um with what they're allowing their personally their kids to play. Well, okay, not lenient. Um it's like they don't actually look on the cover to see what the game's covering. Okay, that sounds weird. But and then if they watch their kid play it and they're like, "How dare you play this?" It's like, "Well, you bought it for them." Yeah, that's a little on
Yeah,
your part for uh, not actually reading the lines or the plot on the cover. Like we put the rating there for a purpose.
yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too, because the rating system is there for a purpose, and like I think a lot of people are looking for scapegoats in these situations. Like these situations are a lot more like complex than people think, and they want to find some easy way out, but it's usually a lot more complicated than that. And
Hmm.
people like to use that. But I think a lot of these violent video games, a lot of kids shouldn't play them or be exposed to them. Like for example, Mortal Kombat. Like I wouldn't want my kids to play that game until like they're like at least like 15 or 16.
yeah,
Like that's part of the parents too. Like these games aren't allowed to be sold to kids like on their own. Like parents have to buy these games for them, and parents should do the research and look into like what these games cover, because like it's not so black and white, because like M rating can mean a lot of different things. Like the Halo games are rated M just for a little bit of blood, but yet there's other games like Mortal Kombat. They have the same rating, but yet they're totally like different.
Hmm.
yeah. And like I remember when I first started playing Skyrim, one of my sisters was giving me a hard time saying, "You're playing rated M video game." And my dad was like, "What? Skyrim's rated M?" And I turned to him, I was like, "Could you even tell it was rated M?" He's like, "No, I couldn't." I was like, "Exactly." Like it's rated M because there's a few kill animations which you can completely avoid that you get if you're a werewolf or if you unlock a certain perk. So I'm like uh one of the things on the list was Skyrim continuity. I'm like, okay, the closest it comes to that is if you steal someone's clothes, you leave them in their underwear. That's it. So I feel like calling it nudity is a bit strong. But then on the flip side, there are games like Dante's Inferno where, yeah, there's full-on frontal nudity. And those games I usually avoid because, just personally, nudity bothers me. Like, just for me personally, gore doesn't bother me too much, but nudity does. So, like we said, that's what the rating system's for, so we know what we're getting into. Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't have anything to say.
Yeah,
um, I was kind of thinking about that because I've been playing Street Fighter lately. So, and I've gotten better and I've actually been really enjoying it. And it suddenly occurred to me, no, I'm enjoying this game not because I enjoy beating someone up. I just enjoy kind of the skill that it takes to play it. I feel like that's a big part of a lot of games. It's just you enjoy the skill or that you have to employ to beat the game or the story, or you just enjoy relaxing it. Like my sister and I got into a game called what was it Children of Light, Children of the Stars, something like that. It's just like a really chill, wholesome game where you're just like this little kid running around trying to save spirits that have lost their way. So we even got my younger nieces and nephews into it because it's such a wholesome game. And it's really artistic too. So, and I mean, I think at its core, video games are kind of like playing pretend, like we did as kids. Like playing Call of Duty or Battlefield is like playing Soldier as a kid. Playing Skyrim or Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed is like playing knights and pirates and stuff like that. Like it's just kind of grown a version of playing pretend.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very ignorant when people say video games cause violence, because like I could definitely see like some different arguments for it. But like people don't really understand video games and all the different types of games out there.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as saying like, oh, all movies cause violence. But yeah, like if you watch depends on which movies you watch. This Teletubbies going to make you go violent. Or it's like the same argument, but
Depends on the
it's also
episode.
with other edgy media too. Like people try to find scapegoats in a lot of these tragedies. Like for example, like when the shootings happened, a lot of like edgy musicians were targeted, like Marilyn Manson and like all these different musicians were targeted, being like, "Oh, you caused violence. You inspire kids to be violent and all that stuff." It's like
Jeez.
they're trying to find scapegoats for stuff.
Yeah.
Like these situations are a lot more complicated. People want to find an easy answer for it, and they don't really. And also try to what's it called? Not take responsibility for the stuff they have a part of it too. It's
Yeah.
easy for a parent to be like, "Oh my, these video games messed my child up because of all this stuff," but yet like you're neglecting all the things you do and the family too. Like it's easy to blame just one thing, but yet what do you're the one that bought the game for him. Like why do you have responsibility too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that being said though, like I do believe like people should be mature enough and like, or not mature enough, people should like think heavily about doing these things too. Like for example, Mortal Kombat. Every once in a while, like I enjoy that game a lot, but there's every once in a while when I play it, I'm just like I feel really gross doing it. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
I just realized I was thinking about it, like, dang, I just pretended to brutally murder that person. And I feel kind of weird about it, so I take a break from it. So I definitely think people should be careful with these things.
yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
we were going through similar experience, but with Dead Space. Um,
Yeah,
it was just like we play for an hour, 2 hours. They're like, okay, I'm Dead Spaced out right now.
yeah. It's like I need something wholesome. Let's watch like a slice of life anime.
Yeah.
uh,
Let's watch Teletubbies.
Teletubbies.
Yeah. It's yeah. Like all that being said, you do still need to think about the media that you consume because the things you see often influences the things you think about, and that influences your decisions and the kind of person you become. And again, that's not to say like, oh, I play Mortal Kombat, I'm going to become a psychopath. Like, no, not at all. But it still does make you think a little more violently. So it's kind of like how after I watch a comedy show, like I'm funnier than usual because I've got jokes on my mind. So just that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that belongs to the individual themselves too. I don't think it's other people's right to like dictate. Yeah, that word. What people should do. Like for example, I don't want like someone else to tell me I can't um, play these games I want to play. But like, you know what I mean? Like it should be me that
Yeah.
makes the decisions, and like I should be able to, you know, decide what's good for me and what's not.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have to say on that. If you guys wanted to move on to any other topics.
Um, hmm.
Got any topics for us, senpai?
It's
Senpai
Well,
Hammerhead.
No, not necessarily that for discussion. I guess. What's your? Okay, I guess you're more of a question. What food would you not put cheese on?
Ice cream.
Not what she's on.
What? How dare you not put cheese on ice cream?
Isn't that
It's
funny?
just,
They're both dairy, but just don't
yeah.
mix.
A different type of dairy.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's some chef out there that can make some weird sweetened cheese sauce that would work well with ice cream, but in like its base form, no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. All right. Fine.
I
A
guess
different.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Go on.
I wouldn't put cheese into a drink. I guess
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
a
pretty good.
drink counts as a food, right?
All right.
I would
What? Uh-huh.
I wouldn't put cheese on cereal.
What about hot cereal?
Nah.
Oh.
Like grits?
Hmm.
I put it on
Oh,
grits.
yeah. Yeah,
You do
definitely.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on
Really?
grits.
So
Not
what is
like
grit?
not oatmeal. They wouldn't put it on oatmeal. But no, you see me eat grits. It's kind of actually what is grits? What is grits made of?
Excuse me.
It's like oatmeal. That's all I know about.
Here, give me a second. Here, but here's another question. Is would you rather be the best martial artist in the world or the best gamer in the world?
Hmm.
I guess it depends which one makes more money.
Yeah. I want to say best martial artist because I feel like that'd be more satisfying.
Okay, okay, but you'd have to go in fights a lot.
You'd
Well, I
actually
mean, I
have to
can.
hurt people versus actually just pretending to hurt people.
Yeah,
Mortal
Well, they
Kombat
should
for
have.
real.
Well, they should have known better.
I should have known better. I don't know. I think I'd probably be the best gamer because I would probably still take care of myself physically. But I wouldn't be as fit as a martial artist. But I don't know. I'd have more fun playing games. Okay, so
Mhm.
grit is a porridge made from boiled cornmeal. Sorry,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so it's a type of cornmeal.
Huh.
Wait, what's it called? Grits?
Yeah,
Great.
you looking
Oh,
it
that
up?
stuff. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Oh, interesting. People are putting cheese on it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was my topic. Um, even though I'm host, but I'll try to think of another topic for next week or next time we record. I'm sorry. I don't think I had one either the last time. But all right. Well, that would be it here. Thanks for joining us today. We'll let you guys go take a nap or something, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you all
Yeah,
later.
bye. Have a good nap.
Bye.
Bye.